For just the average football fan, undrafted free agents seem like somebody that has a far shot to make the roster, the final 53-man roster. But if you don't know, okay, undrafted free agents actually make up almost about 50% of NFL rosters currently. I mean, like undrafted free agents are literally everywhere. We're looking at the Vikings, right? We signed a bunch of undrafted free agents last year, and a couple of them actually made the roster. Most notably, Ivan Pace Jr. was an undrafted free agent out of Cincinnati, and he actually performed spectacularly. I thought he played some pretty good football, got some starts in there, looked pretty decent. And I thought, looking back at his film last year, that was going to be the case. The way he flew around to the ball, he wasn't afraid to make a tackle, right? Well, going into this season, the Vikings decided to sign 17 undrafted free agents, and we talked about all of them briefly, gave you my 2 cents of what I thought of them, just hearing about their bio and looking at their stats, and none of that really matters, okay? The only thing that matters is what happens when they get on the gridiron, okay? That is the only thing that matters. And there's a bunch of these guys that are going to end up on rosters, on the 53-man roster, or even practice squads, okay? But the Minnesota Vikings, I guess, per one of the, how do you want to say it, like an expert when it comes to the undrafted free agents, basically said that the Vikings have a top 5 undrafted free agent class, and that is something not to blink an eye at. That is awesome. That means we're going to have a lot of competition come training camp and OTAs and all this stuff, which OTAs I do believe have started up, but this is fantastic news. So let's dive right into it. Why are these guys the top, or why is our Minnesota Vikings undrafted free agent class ranked top 5? Let's get right into it. Before we do, subscribe to the channel. So, the Minnesota Vikings are prioritizing undrafted free agents more under general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah than they have in previous seasons, right? Last season, the Vikings had 3 undrafted free agents make the roster. Okay, that's Andrew Carter II, played linebacker, came out of Army, I do believe. Ivan Pace Jr., we just talked about him, Cincinnati Bearcat, comes in, gets a starting job, is an absolute stud at the linebacker position. And then Najee Thompson, okay, he played briefly. He was a really good special teamer, flew around, made a lot of plays when it came to the punt return and the kick return aspect of the ball game, which is great, okay? 3 of them made the roster. Now this year, the undrafted free agent haul looks potentially as fruitful, which is pretty decent, I would say. Now, Fantasy Pros Thor Nystrom, I believe is how you say his name, is the foremost expert when it comes to undrafted free agency, a process that he calls the dessert draft. He had the Vikings with the 3rd best undrafted free agent class, including 4 players with draftable grades from Nystrom. Here's what he wrote about the Vikings undrafted free agent class. Minnesota's 2023 UDFA haul is a worthy follow-up to that class. The Vikings signed 2 of my top 10 overall undrafted free agents in edge Gabriel Murphy and cornerback Dwight McGlothern, who I've actually heard some good things from multiple of you guys that have watched the show or watched the channel and left comments about Dwight McGlothern. Now, amongst a group that included 4 prospects with draftable grades on my board. In sum, Minnesota added 10 members of the Thor 500 via UDFA, which is, I think, his list of the top 500 undrafted free agents or something. I have no idea what it is, to be honest with you, but this guy is an undrafted free agent expert, okay? Now, Edge Murphy is a skilled pass rusher who the NFL bypassed for 7 rounds because of arm length. Kind of ridiculous, right? It would be stunning if he does not make the team. The last 3 seasons, Murphy posted PFF pass rushing grades of 90.4, 87, and 87.6, respectively, over a combined 921 pass rushing snaps with 18 sacks. He's a one-trick pony, okay? UCLA only dropped him into coverage on 29 snaps the past 2 years. But that trick is pretty neat, and one that is valued in DC, or defensive coordinator, Brian Flores' hyper-aggressive scheme. And listen, I don't care if he's a one-trick pony, okay? Danielle Hunter was a one-trick pony. Look what happened when we tried to make him a multiple-trick pony. Drop him back in coverage. Things didn't work out, to say the least, okay? Under Ed Donatel, who was our defense coordinator just a couple of years ago, that didn't work out. It's okay to be a one-trick pony. If he's all about pass rushing and getting to the quarterback and stuff like that, that's all right. That's your job. That's what you wanted to do when you signed up to play football at that position. You want it to sack the quarterback. You want it to disrupt things, okay? So I'm okay with that. I think that's a really good trait to have. Now, Murphy is the crown jewel of this class with high pass rush prowess. Now he does have 30.5-inch arms, not really that long of arms, which as an edge rusher could, affect you a little bit, especially with, trying to get the bull rush or any of these, special moves like the spin move and all that stuff. But it's all right. But that's likely why he fell in the draft. However, his relative athletic score of 9.28 suggests that there is a profile to work with. If anyone can extract the talent from Murphy, it's defensive coordinator Brian Flores. There are quite a few intriguing names on this list that could make the roster, which is both a good thing when it comes to value and potentially a worry with the roster being where it is currently. Now, I don't care. I don't think this is going to be a bad thing at all for these undrafted free agents. Look, this is a chance of a lifetime. This is a chance to prove your worth. This is a chance to earn a contract in the future and make the roster. These guys were given chances by the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings organization, the front office, the GM, the head coach and stuff, thought that these guys deserved a chance, had the opportunity to make the team. That's what they saw in these guys. That's why they decided to bring them in and say, hey, show us what you got. Show us in person what you got, what you're all about. And that's great. I love it. I hope some of these guys will make the roster. I'm assuming some will. Maybe that's on special teams, but who really cares if it's on special teams? You still made the roster. You're on an NFL team. That is incredible, right? But right now, the Vikings currently have 17 undrafted free agents, and we have the top 5 UDFA class, undrafted free agent class, in the National Football League currently. And on this guy, Thor Nystrom's list, he actually has this as number 3 ranked undrafted free agent class this season. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this situation. What do you think? Tell me about the UDFAs, specifically which one caught your eye, which one you really like and hope succeeds and stuff like that. I hope they all do. I hope they all make the roster. It's just not going to be reality, but they all have a great chance in front of them. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like, and hey, subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skol Vikes.